One of the best things about this job is that we get to see things that often are pretty private. This is Cheveley Park Stud, which is the oldest stud farm in the whole of Newmarket. Horses have been raised here for more than 1,000 years. Of course, when it comes to racing, their record on the track speaks for itself. Pivotal, Medicean and Russian Rhythm are just a few of the stars to have carried their souls to success down the years. We thought it was about time we found out a little bit more about what goes on inside.
Russian Rhythm sticks her neck down and she's going to win it.
It's fine games at Pivotal in a photo run. Pivotal may have got up.
Medicean goes on to win the Queen Anne.
An interval, wind's going away. Gospel Choir holding on.
Providence will win nicely for Sir Michael Stout.
Echelon has done it again. She's got up to win. A magnificent performance.
And it's going to be Confidential Lady who wins the Prix d'Armes.
Hooray! Wins the Cheveley Park Stakes in the colours of the Cheveley Park Stud.
Picturesque Cheveley Park has a fascinating history, with some of its buildings dating right back to the 16th century. And there is evidence to suggest that horses were bred on these grounds many hundreds of years before that. Many of the current buildings date back to the time of Harry McAlmont, who bought the stud in 1892, when it encompassed some 7,800 acres. After McAlmont's death, it was sold by his family to trainer Robert Sherwood in 1921. It was then inherited by his secretary, Albert Stafford Smith, who sold it to the current owners, David and Patricia Thompson, in 1975. Sadly, a mansion which once stood on the site and which was used as a prisoner of war camp during World War I is no longer. It was demolished in 1925 due to the huge expense of maintaining it. This statue is of Music Boy, and while he might not be one of the most famous horses to have stood here at Cheveley Park, he is hugely significant. That's because he's one of the first horses ever to have been owned by the Thompsons. He won the gimcrack for them, and they decided to stand him here in 1977. He just had 17 foals from his first crop, but they were enough to crown him leading first season sire, and his progeny went on to earn over £2.5 million. If he had not been such a success, then Cheveley Park might not have grown into the empire it is today. A tour around the stud's rolling acres is a real treat, with mares and foals occupying almost every paddock at the time of our visit in May. And not just any mares either. Cheveley Park's policy of racing their fillies means that their fields are chock full of top-class race mares and blue hens, the name given to brood mares whose foals have done particularly well on the track. Cheveley Park, of course, are known for their success with fillies, which means they've got some absolutely fantastic brood mares. We've got 3 of them just here in this paddock behind us. A classic winner, no less, in Confidential Lady. She's the darker bay of the 3 mares. We've also got Nanina, who was a dual Group 1 winner, and also Ice Palace, who is the dam of the very useful Queen of Ice. When it comes to brood mares and bloodlines, it doesn't get much better than this. We've been searching for quite some time for a Frankel foal, and we've got one right here. This little colt is out of the very good race mare Red Bloom, which gives him, of course, the perfect start in life. That's Red Bloom just over there. She, of course, was very successful for Cheveley Park. And then over there, the mare just walking away from us, followed by her pivotal filly, is Hooray, who was a champion 2-year-old filly a few years ago. So once again, some top-class bloodlines on display. Our visit coincided with a really busy time for the stud, with coverings, racing and foaling all going on at once. The operation employs around 50 full-time staff, who all have their hands full at this time of year, as Cheveley Park's long-standing managing director Chris Richardson explains.
We will foal 93 mares this year. We've got 5 left to foal, so touch wood, we're going well on that front, and all of them are here safely. We've got 80 yearlings, and we're sort of trying to be commercial in one respect. We offer the colts for sale as yearlings, and retain to race the fillies, and that's a sort of policy that's it has fluctuated. We started off doing that when I first joined in 1987, and it was very much we've got to make this pay, you know, the success on the race course came for not only ourselves but also for those that acquire our bloodstock.
While the foals and broodmares are my favourite part of a farm, it's the stallions that bring in the bulk of the money. So we moved on to have a look at Cheveley's impressive roster, all 7 of whom were in situ when we arrived. There are 7 stallions currently in residence here at Cheveley Park, and they're a pretty formidable bunch. This fellow here is Dutch Art, of course a Group 1 winner a few years ago, who's made a brilliant start to his career at stud with progeny including horses such as Casper Netcher. He's done really, really well. We come down here, Medician doesn't need a great deal of introduction. He has been an absolute star, of course the sire of Dutch Art, and so many other good horses. He's going to turn around and come and say hi to us. Absolutely beautiful horse and a real pro now, getting on a little bit, born in 1997. And moving on down, this is my personal favourite, winner of the Prix Jockey Club last year, Intello, who's here for 2 years. Then he'll return to continue his stud career over in France. But you can really see the quality and the class that he exudes, and he's proven really popular with breeders so far. And just one more for this row, another newcomer, Lethal Force, winner of the July Cup last year. And he's got a very aristocratic, lovely grey head there. You can just see him poking out. And he has been, again, very, very popular with breeders. And we'll see his first foals next year. The star of the show, though, has his own box, Pivotal. Elderly statesman, the most expensive stallion they have here. And he gets to live over there in splendid isolation. Stallions have been housed here since Isinglass, who was a Triple Crown winner in Harry McAlmont's day. He lived in this impressive standalone box in the 1890s. Now it's home to the mighty Pivotal, whose growing bunch of Group 1 winners include 2 Godolphin stars, Lock-Inge and Champion Stakes hero Far, and Dubai World Cup winner African Story. Pivotal, 25% of whom is owned by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is now 21 years old. He stands for £45,000 and is very much a professional in every aspect of his job.
He was nicknamed the Mighty Pivotal. After he retired from racing, he was trained by Sir Mark Prescott. He was born and raised here, and obviously gave us a great thrill at Royal Ascot when he won the King's Stand Stakes, and then went on to win the Nunthorpe Stakes Group 1 at York. And he's a horse that has defied all expectations, really. He started off at fairly lowly means. Obviously he was a champion sprinter, but he has managed to excel at all levels. He's had 24 individual Group 1 winners, obviously including Great African Story, who won the Dubai World Cup. He's a very exciting horse, he always has been, and we're very, very grateful to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, because he owns a quarter of the horse, 25% interest, and has supported the horse very strongly over the years.
So how did that come about, the link with Sheikh Mohammed?
Well, it was just at the start when he was, obviously his runners started to do catch the imagination on the race course, and then the progeny at the sales started to do well, and there was a great deal of international interest for the horse. I spoke to Sheikh Mohammed's advisor, John Ferguson, and just indicated that there were some interest from abroad. We ended up coming to an arrangement, as I say, whereby they acquired 25%. So it was wonderful in that it secured the horse for English and British breeders.
Pivotal is the elder statesman at Cheveley Park, well able to give advice to his younger counterparts, which include newcomer Lethal Force, who is standing his first season at the stud. The dual Group 1 winner looked the picture of health and seems well worth its fee of just £12,500. Another new arrival at the time of our visit was 2013 Prix de Jockey Club winner Intello. He stands at the stud as a result of a partnership between Cheveley Park and his owners, the Wertheimer brothers, as Chris explains.
We were very fortunate. I was very taken with the horse when he won the Fielden Stakes, and at that point very much was on our radar. The Wertheimer brothers were obviously campaigning him, and we were trying to acquire a percentage of the horse with a view to standing him here if we could have acquired an interest. However, the decision was made that they preferred not to sell. So we suggested that maybe this would be a place where hopefully with the support that we can give through our broodmare band and the clients that we have, we could stand him here and offer a real international flavour to breeders. I think it's exciting that it's in partnership with the Wertheimers and also the Ardukene, which is the head family, who will be standing the horse in his 3rd and 4th season. So I think it's brilliant that it brings together 3 truly respected international racing and breeding operations to allow the horse to be here and hopefully we will be rewarded and everybody will be rewarded accordingly. And he's got some fantastic mares. He's going to have 140 mares, which is obviously a lot in his first season, but he's handling that very professionally. He's a very exciting horse. As you know, he was quite unlucky, probably not to win the Guineas, but he won the Derby, the French Derby. He was third he was flying at the death in the Guineas. He was third in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe behind the great filly Trev. So, there's a huge huge amount going for him. He's a Galileo with a lot of speed, and of course his mother, Impressionnant, it was well named. She was impressive, and he's been very impressive, and she was second in the Guineas herself, and I think probably that's where the speed comes from, because she was, I believe, won the Foray. So I think it's very exciting for the future.
While Intello and Lethal Force still have to prove they can make it as top stallions, Medician has been there and done it all. The 17-year-old is responsible for 10 Group 1 winners and more than 30 stakes winners so far, a formidable record by anyone's standards.
Another homebred, very, very nice to be breeding at the top end. A very versatile racehorse. He won the Celebration Mile as a 3-year-old, and he then went to he then won the Lockhinge as a 4-year-old. He then went to Royal Ascot, where he won the Queen Anne, which at that time was a Group 2 and carried a £5 penalty. And then later went on to win the Eclipse Stakes over a bit further, over 10 furlongs. And he too he's actually sired 10 individual Group 1 winners. He looks marvellous for his age. He's a very athletic horse. One of those, there are very few yearlings that don't walk by him, and as a result his stock have been very commercial. As you say, he's been successful on the international stage, both in Hong Kong and in Dubai.
Dutchard out in the centre, who races to the lead now. Sunny Red behind them. Home Mike gets out late, but the bird's flown. Dutchard 2 in front now, and here's a win for Susan Roy. It's Dutchard who goes on to win it by 2 lengths.
One of Medician's best sons is the Middle Park and Prix Morny winner Dutch Art, who stands alongside him. The muscular 10-year-old is a good producer of sprinters, with Slade Power and Casper Netscher among the best to represent him on the track. After Dutch Art, we had a look at the more compact Kilachi, sire of such speedy types as Krypton Factor and Soul Power. Now 16 years old, the son of Pivotal is described as tough and clever by those who have had the most to do with him. Cheveley Park owns several horses in partnership with the Armstrong family, including July Cup winner Mason, who has his first yearlings in 2014. An impressive horse to look at. Hopes are high that he will be as successful in the breeding shed as his sire, Invincible Spirit.
David and Armstrong are fantastic breeders. We've known them for years. They've been sending mares to our stallions for 20 years, and it's so nice that they've been rewarded with a success. Indeed, Mason is out of a Pivotal mare, so it goes back a long way, and Pivotal is obviously doing so well as a broodmare sire. But yeah, Mason, he's a very interesting, he's a lovely balanced horse, a son of Invincible Spirit. He's got a nice walk. He's quite a boy. He's very professional in everything he does, and he's very enthusiastic about the new role that he's taken over. But he was a very good racehorse. Obviously, he won the July Cup. He won very emphatically. He's been very well supported. He had over 100 mares in the first 2 seasons, including this year, which is sometimes the more difficult season. So with the support of the Armstrongs, and we've obviously sent quite a few nice mares to him. We'll hopefully be able to advertise some of the nice foals that are just being born now at December sales, when our breeders, our loyal breeders who have been so wonderful in supporting the stallions that we have the opportunity to look at them.
Reluctantly leaving the stallions grazing safely away in their paddocks, we decided to find out more about the racing arm of the operation. This year, Cheveley Park had some 120 horses in training, a few more than in recent seasons. While mostly supporting Newmarket yards, they have their runners split between 13 different trainers, with Sir Michael Stout getting his pick of the youngsters, as Chris explained.
Do you try and keep families together? If Sir Michael Stout has trained Echelon, would you try and send her progeny to him? Yes,
well, he has first pick. He's a director of the company, and he has first pick. So yes, all the daughters of Echelon have gone to him. Obviously, Integral and Provenance, who won impressively as well. So fingers crossed for her. Yeah, so Michael has first pick, and then obviously Sir Mark Prescott will pick 2 or 3. And John Gosden. After that, actually, we pretty much allocate the families to as best we can to everybody, to try and give them to each trainer an opportunity to have hopefully something that can be competitive.
The famous red, white and blue colours have been seen in winners' enclosures up and down the UK many times this season, with big race success coming courtesy of Gospel Choir, who claimed the Jockey Club Stakes and Yorkshire Cup.
Looking back down the years, there's been some wonderful horses to carry the silks. Which ones really stand out for you? There must be some personal favourites.
Yes, I mean, I suppose we've. Russian Rhythm was a filly that we bought. She won 4 Group 1s, including the Guineas. She was a very tough race mare. She'd be certainly one that would spring to mind. Obviously, pivotal with what he's done. Has done frightfully well. And Exclusive was another. She won the Coronation. Was another filly that we raced, and she was the daughter of Exclusive Order, who we purchased back in the sort of days when I started. In '86, she was, one of those wonderful mares that you hope to get, and we did, and she's produced so wonderfully well, especially the fillies. We've had a lot of cross section actually. We've even won the Thompsons in Patricia Thompson's colours, the Grand National with Party Politics in 1992. So it's quite a diverse arrangement. We don't have any jumpers at National Hunt horses at the moment, but. It was, it's very much something that they enjoy all the different aspects of, whether it's bought or or homebred or purchased. It all plays a very big part and hopefully in the success of the operation.
With its current band of stallions doing extremely well with breeders, and the fillies continuing to strut their stuff on the track, things look bright for the future of Cheveley Park, one of racing's most enduring breeding operations. Let's hope it continues to produce champions for many years to come.